By the way, faith without works is dead being alone, meaning faith is always moving. A.W. Tozer said, faith is not quiet. It's not an inward feeling. It is a living, active thing that moves the heart and changes the life. And so what you say you believe and what I see you believe might be two different things. What I say I believe needs to be matched by my behavior. You behave how you believe. And so Jesus is giving us this pathway to greater faith. Faith operates outside of the comfort zone, and it's not in our intentions, it's in our actions. And so when we evaluate the areas of our life that need to grow, what we're doing is we're evaluating our actions, our surrender, our obedience, and we're evaluating our faith. And so Jesus gives a checkup on the disciples' faith. And he's going to evaluate their faith by putting them into a situation where he's going to see how they respond. Now, I want you to see there are 4 questions that we're going to ask about our faith from this test, this proving time that Jesus put the disciples through. And I want you to see this in verse number 5. To ask the first question, has your faith been tested? Has your faith been tested? Have you ever had a season where God was testing or proving your faith? Well, Jesus lifted up his eyes and saw the great company, and he said to Philip, we don't know why it was Philip, but he says, whence shall we buy bread that these, the thousands of people may eat? Whence shall we buy bread? And he was asking, he said this, verse 6, to prove him, for he himself knew what he would do. Jesus never asks a question he doesn't know the answer to. Jesus was asking Philip this question because he knew what he would do. Jesus was leading Philip and the disciples to a place of faith, a place of greater understanding about God's ability and God's heart for them. And so Philip was being proved. He was being tested. A.W. Tozer said, before God can use a man greatly, he must first test him deeply. God will put you through tests and trials and tribulations, not just to wound you, but to help you, to prove you, to grow you. And so when the disciples were presented with this question, they had a choice. Are we going to take the physical route, which is what the whole multitude was there for, a physical need to be met?